All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game here on Lost Temple, and it is a 2v2 all the random. Good game. Are you spawning here as the red human? Meanwhile, off over here we see Abver. So, did I cast this game already? No, there's no way I could have cast this game already because I didn't have the Lost Temple all the random. All right, good check right there. Thank you for, yeah, but this is Miker. This is Abver off over here. Meanwhile, Bizzare and Sheik off on the other sides of the map. And, well, a lot of humans versus one orc. So we'll see how this actually plays out. Remember, heroes are random once again. And why am I restating the fact? Well, a lot of times in 2v2 matchups, the heroes you choose early on really dictate and set. Oh, there. Ooh, right. Really set the tone of what type of army you can have, and you try to build synergy with your heroes. Tauren Chieftain in an orc army is an obvious choice. Trying not to overlap archmages is also another choice as well, which, well, these players are not going to be given the option to choose. They are going to be given a hero randomly. As the game it does get underway, it should be an exciting match. We are looking at possible headhunters coming across from Abver. Headhunter is always a strong choice. Range units always a strong choice. As well, 2v2 battles can get quite large, and as the battle gets larger and larger, range units can participate in the battle much more consistently than melee units. Now, what's going to come across here? There's a scout farm being set up. Footman going to be doing some scouting here, both sides, just trying to scout out to see what the other player is up to. We can see that Miker is going to be able to set up an expansion right here, and same thing for Sheik. Both sides have humans in that critical position where you can expand away from your opponent. That is going to be incredibly important as a Death Knight now wanders out and opts for Unholy Aura first. All right, interesting call here. So slightly faster movement speed, a little bit of better regeneration. The Death Knight is absorbing quite a bit of damage here, and that Forest Troll Berserker will get taken down. Now going after the Forest Troll Shadow Priest and the remainder units as the Goblin Alchemist of Bizzare. Well, Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist diving in after all of these units again. Well, gotta say, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If, however you guys may be watching or listening, well, I do definitely appreciate it as we see a Blood Mage coming across from Miker. Not necessarily the best unit to open things up with. Siphon mana with no one to give it to. Always a little bit tough, but not getting Banish early on. That does come as a surprise. Banish, you're often able to, well, move away one single unit or neutralize them from the fight as the Fire Lord now out here onto the battlefield. All right, Lava Spawn's getting in a little bit of damage here. Fire Lord coming back across. We're looking at that Lava Spawn isn't going to be able to fight at all. There is a second Lava Spawn now down as well. Both sides continuing the fight here as the Fire Lord, well, looking to rack up damage here. We're looking at this Lava Spawn. This Lava Spawn not going to get as lucky. It's completely surrounded by militia and taken down quickly. Now, these two lava spawns, are they just going to end up feeding experience to the Goblin Alchemist? That could be the case here. One lava spawn going to get taken down. The other one could get taken down. Well, there's going to be a low hit point footman, perhaps. There goes a peasant again. Both sides are just constantly fighting, and there's a little bit more experience once more. There goes another peasant. Goblin Alchemist very close, actually, to level, or already halfway to level 3. As we see an expansion attempt now being established down here on the southern side. All right, a lot of engagement going all across. The Fire Lord down to 36 supply, gets choked up on a sheep, gonna get taken down by the Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist, who is now 7 experience shy from level 2 or level 3. Death Knight now makes its way over for Sheik. A bunch of footmen gonna finish things off here. Scout Tower not gonna be completed. This one peasant gonna get taken down. And Death Knight with Death Coil. Well, Sheik and Bizzare seemingly having some great opportunities to put in more damage again, as we're looking at more and more units just constantly falling. All right, no healing spray. Chemical Rage or Goblin Alchemist is going to be able to do enough damage here. Is he going to move fast enough to finish off this last unit? That footman actually, well, getting into a little bit of a pathing issue once more as the Death Knight still sits at level 2. All right. Oh, it looks like that footman got in the way again. Are we going to see that, 36 damage? One more auto attack. Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist going to chase down his target, finish it off, and now make his way back off to the north. Meanwhile, one Headhunter having a little bit of a difficult time. And there is so much action just going on in all the different places of the map. It is difficult to keep track of, well, what is going down here as the expansion here is shut down, and now the players perhaps are going to try and start actually creeping out the center portion of the map here. However, the creeps have been aggroed. One footman already down, another footman about to get taken down to 25 hit points. One quick experience boost for that Fire Lord once again. All right. Death Knight, Unholy Aura, perhaps Death Coil. They're going to be making their way over here. There's a Flame Strike to take down a couple of those peasants, and this is going to be damage over time. More and more peasants are getting taken down. Level 3 now on the Blood Mage. So Blood Mage gets up to level 3. This footman able to escape at 17 hit points, and well, both sides are just trying to flat out beat each other up in the first 6 minutes of this game. As we are transitioning, I do not see anyone. Well, no, I take it back. Sheik now taking the tier 2. We are at Stronghold, getting up a second hero as well. There's that chemical, there is that acid bomb. That is that little bit of damage over time, but it also means that they have less armor, meaning that they take more damage per attack. You got to be very careful with those acid bombs, especially across small units like this. They have relatively low hit points, and well, they could end up getting taken down pretty quickly. All right, going after unit after unit. A couple of these peasants could get taken down. Bizzare's Goblin Alchemist may actually get to level 4 extremely fast. There's some more acid bomb. And wow, Micro is going to be incredibly low on peasants. He's going to be hard on, well, he's going to be low on lumber, most likely. Currently sitting at 351, though, so perhaps canceling that earlier Town Hall was enough. Arcane Tower trying to, well, pick apart the Alchemist. The Alchemist, however, is a high strength-based hero, you remember. And because of that high strength, well, he does have quite a bit of well, a hit point pool to try and use up here. Units are going to try and retreat back. Meanwhile, back off to the north, Fire Lord, level 2 Lava Spawns continuing to poke around. Death Knight does come into the party as well. We're going to see a split there as the Death Knight wanted to get to level 3, does get to level 3, and now perhaps going to start using level 2 Death Coil. Units are just continuing to engage once more, and the Goblin Alchemist has not left the party yet. He is still engaging and fighting pretty heavily here. Takes on another low hit point footman. More peasants need to get trained up. As you can see, the Blood Mage, well, he's not going to have a very good day. Down to 27 hit points. Is he going to be able to catch up once more? Alchemist, no, not going to be able to catch up. No boots of speed. He double backed around just a bit too much. Unless a raccoon or squirrel gets in his way, that Blood Mage will be able to retreat all the way back home. Meanwhile, Crypt Lord is out here on the battlefield as well, an army of beetles. So this is just an army of beetles and an army of lava spawn causing problems all across the map here. So a summoning party here, as the Blood Mage does end up falling at level 3. So the Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist, I forgot how cheap it is to get Chemical Rage. And, well, that's exactly what happened there. All right, Lava Spawn's continuing the fight here. Are we actually going to see another split? It is very rare for a Lava Spawn to actually split this many times. Needed an additional, well, endurance or faster attack speed to do exactly that. All right, Beetles are now, well, cleaning up the rest of the base over here on the top right-hand side of the map. And this has been, well, a very, very critical battle coming across as the Crypt Lord sits now at level 2. Shutting down that expansion. Meanwhile, Bizzare is trying to set up an expansion here at the 3 o'clock spot as the Death Knight falls at level 3. All right, damage across the board. Units, footmen are trying to well, fight their way through. And who do you think has the advantage right now? Both sides are just constantly fighting up against each other. It doesn't really feel like anyone has the clear advantage as of yet. Difficult without a proper overlay. Oh, well, Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist could get taken down to 34 hit points. Forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal as the Demon Hunter shows up to the party. Perhaps is he going to start mana burning or finishing off some of these other units? There's a mana burn onto the Fire Lord, but the Demon Hunter has taken quite a few points of damage and now being forced to back away. Off to the north here, Goblin Alchemist down to 19 hit points, down to 10. He ends up falling. Scroll of Town Portal to send him back home. Does not get the job done. Well, sends him back home. But lingering footman in the base and a low hit point pool, or low hit points to begin with, does not save that Goblin, the Goblin Alchemist. All right, Blood Mage out here on the battlefield. Clarity Potion now getting used here. No one has really cleared out the temple here on Lost Temple, and this is, I gotta say, a very different game than the last 2v2 matchup we saw here on Lost Temple, and that's solely because you couldn't choose the heroes that you have. The heroes that were randomly given were not the heroes that are, well, comfortable trying to clear out these early creeps. As well,
a player's forces are under attack.
Tell you. All right. My daughter wants to watch. All right. Fire Lord, Headhunters pushing their way through. Footmen are going to scout out the bottom side. Meanwhile, Flame Strike, Blood Mage, level 2 Flame Strike can deal large amounts of damage. Goblin Alchemist trying to get resurrected. There's another Flame Strike. All those peasants are going to get taken down. There they go. A little bit more damage again as the Blood Mage is continuing to put pressure onto the building. Goblin Alchemist is going to be enough. There's a mana burn. There's a Siphon mana, but the Demon Hunter able to remove enough precious mana away anyways. All right, peasants are going to get taken down. Are we going to see another more Siphon mana? Yes, we are. And the Blood Mage and the Demon Hunter are doing this little cheeky game of like drain mana, mana burn, drain mana, mana burn over and over and over again. Goblin Alchemist will be able to make its way back out here. The Blood Mage didn't have enough mana for another Flame Strike, but look how low hit point all of those 3 farms are. One more Flame Strike and, well, that would take down a number of buildings and remove much of the supply. All right, so no one is really operating at full capacity right now. You can see the Town Hall here, and a Town Hall here, no upgrade to keep. Units are trying to retreat back. Demon Hunter at 30 or 37 hit points, perhaps going to hang around at the Fountain of Health since it is night. Footmen trying to make their way back over, and we are finally seeing, well, a use of the fountain just a little bit. All right, Abver looking to clear out of the top left-hand, or, well, what I'll call the west side expansion location. Beetles could get summoned up a little bit more. There's Claws of Attack +5. Fire Lord dishing out a decent damage. And we now have Berserkers out here on the battlefield. All right, so Abver is already at tier 3 with Fortress and has that upgrade to Berserker. Blood Mage needs a little bit more mana, perhaps going to try and finish off the remainder of these buildings here. Again, more footmen diving in to take down peasants, trying to, well, limit the amount of gold. But, well, Bizzare already has an expansion fully operational and fully saturated at this stage. All right, gold mines. Sheik has an expansion. Bizzare has an expansion. Abver has an expansion. Miker, or Good Game RU, does not have an expansion, so 4 bases versus 3 for the team. Goblin Alchemist now showing up to the party, and there's that hard-hitting, chemical raging Goblin Alchemist. You can see each swipe, how much damage it does. It's taking a good chunk off of that Blood Mage. And remember, on top of that, Potion of Healing is going to be forced to use. Yes, forced to use it, but we are still looking at a little bit of pathing. The Blood Mage does not have Banish, and the Goblin Alchemist now also has Boots of Speed. So we're going to see another dance again, and the Blood Mage, well, able to sneak by ever so barely. All right. Meanwhile, Abver and company being able to summon up a couple of units here. We're looking at some units getting forced to pull back as we see a Lich as the second hero going alongside that Blood Mage. Low hit point footman trying to retreat back. A bunch of beetles causing problems. Storm Reaver Necrolite. I'm going to head up the map here. I'm not quite sure what it has for its toolkit. Does deal 36 to 43 piercing damage, though, so that is quite a bit, as we also see some healing wards now being dropped. All right, so a healing ward in the back, going to make this difficult, as Abver is going to be able to, well, perhaps push this location for quite a while. We are at Castle. We do see a Griffin Aviary trying to be built. The Berserkers are off over here. They're going to be able to poke down one of those scout towers pretty quickly, even with massive repairs underway. Level 3, level 2, putting pressure off on the north. Meanwhile, on the southern side, Lich is trying to fight back here. Riflemen, well, trying to fight from the confines of their base, trying to fight back here. Arcane Tower perhaps should be looking to put pressure onto the Goblin Alchemist, as the Footmen with Defend are just reflecting back a little bit of damage here. Where is the Blood Mage? Blood Mage needs to get back out here on the battlefield, but remember, the Blood Mage isn't that strong of a hero either in this instance, unless it can actually give mana to the Lich to try and fight back against all of these Footmen with Defend. The Rifleman, not the best call here, as Bizzare is kind of just trapped up into a corner right now. More Militia joining in here as the Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist continuing to, well, get stuck. Does it have a way out? Is the Rifleman going to be able to back up here? No, it is not. Staff of Teleportation, an easy way out of that sticky situation, as the Death Knight, well, trying to finish off some of these units here. Demon Hunter, Death Knight trying to hide in a corner. Staff of Preservation, well, Sanctuary, not going to work. Demon Hunter gets taken down as well. So Abver with Troll Witch Doctors and Beetles, Storm Reaver, Necrolite. There are Griffins out here onto the battlefield, but they do not want to go up against all of these Berserkers. The Berserkers are just dealing far too much damage, and at this point in stage in the game, Abver really should be using Frenzy, or Berserk, excuse me, to speed up the attack speed on those Berserkers, since there's nothing there to actually attack them. Berserk means that you take additional damage, but if there's nothing to really deal damage to you, why would you even bother? A couple of low hit point peasants, are they going to get, well, burned down to 5 hit points? Yep, some are taken down. Meanwhile, Blood Mage draining mana out of the Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist. Blood Mage needs a way to stay alive here, and, well, going to finish off the Blood Mage. Alright, Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist trying to finish off the Blood Mage. Death Knight just comes in for the steal, doesn't even bother with a Death Coil to make it pretty, just comes in and hits it with that Rune Blade. Alright, back off to the north here, and we're looking at a bunch of units getting healed. Oh wow, Volcano has been completed, and talk about how quickly a base will be destroyed. Sheik's Town Hall gonna be destroyed in a matter of seconds here. Witch Doctor is also providing, well, enough hit points for this berserking army to constantly move around. Are we going to see the Griffin Rider get taken down easily? Wow, down to 374 hit points, just not enough focus fire. As are we going to be looking at a bit of defending. Lich falls at level 1, and then now units are trying to get away. A lot of low hit point units. Bizzare's Alchemist. Oh, Bizzare's Alchemist has no way out. They're trying to break a farm to free, but even if they break the farm to free, now all of these units are kind of getting in the way. There goes an Impale. Alchemist down to 107 hit points. Chemical Raging and able to escape at 49. Actually getting a little bit of distance separation from those ranged attacks to regenerate hit points and then head back over. All right, Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist. Well, back home. And while trying to use potions of healing to fill up that 1100 hit point pool, that is going to be tough. Bizzare does have, I would assume, has Transmute, and with Transmute should be able to, well, obviously transmute other targets. All right, there goes a shockwave on through. A couple of, well, Witch Doctors here. We're looking at some more poking down, trying to finish off units. There goes a Tome of Agility. Another shockwave ripping on again. The Crypt Lord trying to gain all of that experience. Gets Warsong Battle Drums. Helm of Valor for that Fire Lord. And we are looking at the Death Knight hanging by the Fountain of Health for a little bit of heal. Meanwhile, Beetle just trying to clear things up here. Are we seeing a new expansion attempt? We are. And I'm waiting for the Fire Lord to perhaps try and do a similar thing here and destroy that expansion, or at least slow it down to even up the economic situation. All right. Griffins looking to finish things off here. Are we going to see another Fire Lord? Fire Lord Volcano. No, we are not. Not quite sure why we aren't. Necrolite here. Well, no mana. So mana perhaps going to be an issue as the Crypt Lord tries to finish off more and more of these peasants. If he does get to level 5, level 3 Beetles could be summoned up, as the Griffins are easily going after well, Witch Doctors now. There's a stasis trap, a little bit of a dying breath here, as the Griffins are now going after some of the Voodoo Lounge. All right, Alchemist putting in pressure on the main base here. Lich could be in trouble. Where is he going to try and run off to? That Chemical Raging Alchemist such fast movement speed, as the footman could have gotten in front of that Lich there. So Lich not doing enough. Meanwhile, down across here, Bizzare is leaving a couple of, Abver leaving a couple of beetles in Bizzare's base to make sure that no more mining happens here. All right, it's a poor day to be a worker. I guess this is one of those situations where the working class is just the one constantly having problems. We are looking at 51 over 46 supply. That one volcano took down 3 farms and, well, could take down more buildings as well as the volcano, well, finally comes to an end. All right, we are looking at quad barracks, but 45 over 46 supply. Knights will be popping out here, and, well, I don't know quite what to make of it. If the Knights have Sundering Blades, is it going to, even with Sundering Blades, right? Stasis Traps, they are going to be able to do some damage, but the army size is just so large that there's probably not much that can be done. This low hit point Berserker down to 220 hit points. There was a Stasis Trap triggered, and now we're looking at, well, another Knight about to get... Come on, finish off the Knight. Finish off the Knight, or finish off the castle. Doesn't finish off the Knight. And where did they teleport off to? What? Right down here. All right. Able to save Miker's base. All right. Peasants able to now walk back. We're going to get some repairs. So this castle is now gone. Knights no longer trainable. That is important and key. A ninja expansion by Bizzare here at the southern side. And this game is just all over the place. No clear lines, no clear battles. We're looking at, well, the Griffins. Sheik has an army of Griffin riders in the air to, well, perhaps shut down Abver or Miker's ability to, well, mine. Meanwhile, though, Abver already has a very large army. Look at this army size. Look at this army size by Abver. Abver has 74 over 82 supply, and, well, he's trying to, like, just sit inside here. Footman with the Fen, gonna go ahead and clean things up against all of these units. There's a Death Coil onto the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor gonna try and retreat back, and, well, a little bit of a dance here. But where is the most destruction actually really happening? All right. Witch Doctor trying to dodge across all of these units. Again, there's a Stasis Trap off to the north. We can see the location for Miker has been cleared up. 2 over 18 supply. So now it is all up to Abver and this large army to try and finish things off. The Beetles are just constantly trying to clean up the remainder of the bases. A couple of lava spawns as well. Meanwhile, Alchemist trying to head back away here. Are we going to see another, well, finishing off of some of these buildings? So guard tower going to get taken down. Another guard tower most likely going to get taken down. More beetles going to get summoned up. Sheik's base here needs to do a little bit more mining. We're looking at Abver doing a great job just holding on to any bit of gold that he can. 72 over 82 supply. It may be this southern expansion here by Bizzare that is going to, well, tip the scales. There are enough production buildings. You can see the quad barracks right there. Blacksmith is still up, so Rifleman can get trained if there is a gold issue. And now another volcano eruption by Abver to take down perhaps a couple of these buildings again. All right, Abver looking to finish things off, perhaps get to level 7 on the Fire Lord. There's level 7, and now perhaps can finish off this castle here. Off to the north, well, Sheik does have an army of Griffin riders, so it is going to be a question about standing armies and how effective they are. The Griffins able to escape easily, as the Scroll of Town portal does take a little bit of time before it, well, before it commits. Sheik's Town Hall, well, a beetle infestation finishes it off, as Bizzare now trying to operate off of this base down here on the southern side and perhaps start training up some additional units. One Knight here going after these buildings, just cleaning up, just cleaning up buildings wherever they can. And Abver's base just looks too strong. that just appears to be the case right now. Yes, I believe the castle is gone, so no more Griffin Riders can get trained up. 39 supply there, and we're also looking at 23 supply. And we need to see perhaps decent units coming out from Bizzare. Bizzare needs to find a way to start training up units here as peasants are on the move again. All right, Griffins going after a couple of targets. Are we going to see another Blood Mage get taken down? One more swipe, and I don't know how many times this Goblin Alchemist has taken down these units, but the Lich may end up falling. And remember, well, each hero fall costs quite a bit to try and get back out here onto the battlefield. Overall supply now 1/18 as that Lich fell, and the Goblin Alchemist still wandering around here as the Griffin Riders trying to escape and are able to escape again. All right, perhaps the Griffin Riders need to start parking themselves at the right spot. We're looking at low hit point watchtowers. They are getting repaired. They do have fortified armor, and well, this is going to be incredibly important in trying to focus down the low hit point Griffin Riders. Griffin Riders, another one gets taken down. Those burrows doing quite enough damage. Meanwhile, clearing out to this bottom left-hand side, Abver going to try and use a Staff of Teleportation, perhaps head back out and head back off to the north here to try and save. Goblin Alchemist trying to get away. Death Knight right there. Crypt Lord wants to land an Impale, but does not get the job done. Meanwhile, the Griffin Riders are still pushing in pressure onto all of these, onto the peons here. Are we going to see them jump inside? Yes. Are we going to see, yes, death of another Griffin? So Micro by Abver, as his attention is just split all over the place, still working, or as...
player's forces are under attack.
All right. A lot of background noises happening in the Crota house. I need to see if I need to come over and stop. All right. Raiders, lava spawns, all here. We're looking at the middle portion of the map finally cleared out. Abver not really even bothering to upgrade any of his berserkers, but the berserkers have done such a great job of well, handling situations. There is a raider here now, so the raider with a death coil or with ensnare is what is preventing the griffins. Oh, in comes the. Are we gonna see an ensnare? No, death coil. So Death Knight quickly comes across here, now trying to shut things down. Another lava spawn gonna get cleaned up. Down it goes. Level 3 now on the Demon Hunter. As we're looking at the Fire Lord, well, finding another base again. So volcanoes galore. I believe this is the 4th or 5th volcano we've seen here on Lost Temple. Yeah, the destruction of Lost Temple caused by volcanoes, as another city tries to be rebuilt off here. Meanwhile, Death Knight continuing to put impression. There goes another, the Griffin Rider trying to keep distance away again. Sheik's army is getting relatively smaller and smaller as Bizzare is, well, Bizzare can't even give gold to Sheik to spend for more Griffins as he doesn't have any. He doesn't have the castle to train up the Griffins. So this Griffin army was, well, dwindled down by Abver and focus fire from those towers, as Bizzare now looking to set up a couple of towers here and get some long distance or get some gold out of this gold mine, even though there's only 1,400 gold here. All right. Bizzare could try to set up an expansion here. No, gonna set up a tower instead. Heading back off to the north. Abver, well, continuing to poke away here. Can, given enough time, oh, another Tome of Strength. Given enough time, I'm assuming Bizzare could transmute an entire army if necessary, but time is going to be of the essence as the Alchemist teleports off to the north again. Are we going to see a transmute? He was trying to transmute, didn't quite get it. All right. Griffins trying to keep their distance away, make sure not to get hit by that Orc Burrow. And wow, down to 59, 60 hit points. One more attack. There's level 8 now on the Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist. It gets taken out. And what is going to end up happening here? Well, come on, transmute. Oh, yep, there was a quick transmute again. And Acid Bomb finishing off many of these peasants. Alchemist, well, getting the job done here as the Demon Hunter tries to escape away. Oh, getting body blocked by a bunch of units there. There was an ensnare, and there goes the Demon Hunter. Alchemist of Sheik wandering around. Where is he going to try and go? There's a Purge. Goblin Alchemist down to, well, 800 hit points. He's trying to back away, perhaps going to try and scroll of Town Portal. He's walking himself into a corner and, well, really needs to just use the scroll of Town Portal. There's no other reason. If he's just trying to buy time, that's what he did right there, as Bizzare is setting up another base here. All right. Scroll of Town Portal. He is at Keep. There are a bunch of... Why did you build more barracks? You had 3 off over there, but I guess you want them all, well, pretty much centralized. And it is this ninja expansion. It is this expansion that Bizzare has off on the side that is completely still unscouted after all this time. Bizzare's trying to rebuild here. There is no... there established here by Bizzare, or by Bizzare here as well. So getting any little bit of gold that he can, and the Goblin Alchemist perhaps just gonna run around here, and Abver is forced to just constantly find these expansions. All right, in comes a lava spawn. This is gonna be a pretty clean kill, but at the same time, Bizzare is okay with this, as it's buying time to build other bases and still mine more gold out of here. This 9 o'clock expansion location, it looks like it's going to end up getting taken out. Bizzare still has a knight here, finishing off some of those units, and now perhaps going to try and back away again. All right, Goblin Alchemist and Death Knight working together. Perhaps Death Coil, Death Coiling that Fire Lord. 2 level 6 heroes could do quite a bit of work, as the army is now making its way back off to the north again.
The player's forces are under attack.
The Beetles of Abver have finally scouted out the this base over here on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Now Abver gonna try and clear things up here. There are some guard towers. They do have excuse me, masonry upgrades, so they are going to be able to defend a little bit better here. Meanwhile, the Goblin Alchemist making its way over. Perhaps it's going to try and clear up some of these. Well, there's an Acid Bomb. There's a Chemical Rage after a Potion of Mana, slicing and dicing his way through all of these low hit point units. Abver losing peasant after peasant. Another one taken down. It looks like Acid Bomb is still eating away at one of those units. And with that, there goes all of those peasants. Meanwhile, though, Volcano for the 6th time. And, well, Volcano's destroying everything here on Lost Temple. As, well, the mining has stopped for Bizzare. On the bottom left, we see Bizzare trying to set up another base here. But Abver finally scouting out this location. And now, well, no more mining. So economic advantage has been, or economic... No, I can't even say advantage. Economic income for Bizzare has now slowed down, and, well, perhaps it's not going to get as many miscalculations as the Fire Lord. Well, was trying to staff a teleportation somewhere, unable to get it through, and now there's a quick cancellation. Guard towers, well, not going to be able to do much here. Does finish off a shaman. Well, a little bit of poke damage. Healing ward, still healing things up here. The Raider taking quite a bit of damage, and, well, looks like it will survive just because of the sheer amount of units still available. That sentry ward will get cleaned up. Bizzare is mining off to the north again. 17 over 12 supply, though, so it needs to build more farms if it wants to do anything. Building up another town hall here. Death Knight going after another base here. Should the Death Knight really be going after just the peasants? Yep, just going after the peasants. Every Death Coil... instantaneous kill as the Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist tries to get away. Is he going to be able to get away? There goes an ensnare. There goes another ensnare. So many ensnares. There's an Acid Bomb. The Raiders are just trying to get in front of him. And then the Chemical... Oh, another departing ensnare. There's a staff of teleportation. 80, 71. No. Goblin Alchemist falls at level 8, and that is gonna be the game. Level 8 Goblin Alchemist unable to carry the victory. Abver able to win in both unit score and hero score to carry and Miker through the victory here. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.